So we've made it through our period of Nimzovich, and now we have a new tactical player that we're going to look at. It's not pronounced Alekhine, but I mean, growing up, that's all I ever heard. Alekhine this, Alekhine that. I can't do the correct pronunciation, so that's going to have to do, but I don't want to disrespect. And, like, I've said this before, I'm from Alabama, and, you know, we don't exactly have a lot of diversity in the state in order to learn how to pronounce names correctly. So, apologies to Rubenstein and Alekhine or Alekhine, something like that. But I mean, I sound like I'm the guy from Street Fighter now. Like, you know, I'm horrible with pronunciations. Apologies. So, looks like we're getting another Queen's Indian defense. Making sense. And then Alekhine, as he's going to be forever named in the rest of this video, has decided to venture on a different path than Nimzovich did in our previous game, who played bishop e7. So bishop b4 check. Puts the question to him, what are you going to do? And Rubenstein elects to play knight bd2, castle, castle, and now d5. After a3, he decides to put the bishop back. So this is the same kind of theme as we've seen in the previous game. He just used a different move order. Probably more accurate after bishop b4 check is to play bishop d2, because you get this kind of pseudo-ready position for white, which can become uncomfortable. b4. He's trying to grip the c5 square before black slams the center. And black says, but, sir, I can slam the center anyway. And now, let's begin. When you got all this tension, all right, Reed, what do you normally do when you see tension like this? Take everything, that's right. So, he takes there, when we take back, and you'd still take everything? I know I would. So he takes, and he doesn't play c takes d5. He decides to go bishop b2, completes development, and then knight e5. And I'm inclined to agree with white leaving the pawn there, because we have this nice dynamic where we can't move the d pawn, which we saw in our previous example game. Knight takes. And now, this is a seemingly equal and innocuous position. And I may have a slight misquote here, but when I was reading Kasparov's My Great Predecessors, and it's an excellent series, when Alekhine was described, he was basically described as this kind of wizard-like player who could generate monstrous tactical sacrifices from sound calculation out of nowhere. And this position, I wouldn't have even, like me personally, I wouldn't consider some sort of hardcore tactic here for black. But Alekhine kind of generates from thin air this magic. He starts with knight g4. Now, notice how we're just kind of starting to position ourselves to attack. Bishop c3. Rook b8. Now we're covering our bishop so we can move our d-pawn. Rook b1. And he does it anyway. Take my bishop. I'm going for your head. Rubenstein obliges. Now for the tactics. Knight takes f2. King takes. Check. I get my piece back. Hitting the bishop, getting ready to go to greener pastures. Protecting our pawn, getting everybody involved. Important. Look at the coordination. It went from his rook wasn't doing anything, his queen's on an okay square, to all three of his remaining pieces are optimized. Beautifully placed. Giving himself a Luft square, taking away some squares from the bishop. No taking the pawn. We need that. A5, securing his bishop. G5, because of the pin. And white had enough here, as we're revisiting that Zugzwang concept. He's a wizard, Harry. He is.